So now let us discuss about the MCQs relating to the tympanic membrane. The first MCQ, the most mobile part of the tympanic membrane is central, peripheral, both or none. Okay, I've already discussed that the most mobile part of the tympanic membrane is peripheral. Most mobile part of the tympanic membrane is peripheral. Okay, so the answer is peripheral. Okay. Pars flaccida of the tympanic membrane is also called. Pars flaccida of the tympanic membrane is also called. Okay. Tympanic membrane has two parts. One is pars flaccida. One is pars tensa. One is pars flaccida. The other is pars tensa. Okay. This is the anterior malleolar fold. Malleolar fold. This is the posterior malleolar fold. Okay. This malleolar fold separates the pars flaccida. These are the pars flaccida, which is the flaccid, from the pars tensa. Pars tensa. This is tense. Okay. What is the importance of pars flaccida? Clinical importance, because it is flaccid. So any change in the medullary pressure, any change in the medullary pressure due to the eustachian tube obstruction or dysfunction will cause the retraction in the pars flaccida. Will cause the retraction in the pars flaccida easily. Okay, and it is also most important site for the formation of cholestotoma, because it has formed the retraction pocket, so the cholestotoma can easily be formed in the pars flaccida. Okay, and this pars flaccida is also known as Sharpnell's membrane. Is also known as Sharpnell's membrane. So, question is asked: the pars flaccida of the tympanic membrane is also called Sharpnell's membrane. Is also called Sharpnell's membrane. Okay, Reznor's membrane. We will discuss about the Reznor's membrane, and the basilar membrane in the inner ear. Okay, Reznor's membrane and the basilar membrane in the inner ear. Reznor's membrane and the basilar membrane are the membranes which separates the cochlea into three layers. Okay, we will discuss later in the inner ear. Okay, and the secondary tympanic membrane is the layer which covers the round window. Oval window is covered by stapes and the round window is covered by secondary tympanic membrane. This will also be discussed in the later videos. Okay, so the pars flaccida of tympanic membrane is also called Sharpnell's membrane. Okay, surface area of the tympanic membrane is, we have discussed that the surface area of the tympanic membrane is, total surface area of the tympanic membrane is 90 mm square, and the effective surface area of the tympanic membrane is 55 mm square. Okay, so the surface area of the tympanic membrane is 90 mm square. The effective diameter of the tympanic membrane is 55 mm square, but let us look at option 25 mm square, 40 mm square, 30 mm square, and 45 mm square. So we don't have 55 mm square, so the nearest answer is 45 mm square. So we are going for 45 mm square, but the effective diameter of the tympanic membrane is 55 mm square. 55 mm square. Okay, the cone of the light is due to the, okay, we have already discussed that the cone of the light in the tympanic membrane is found in the antero-inferior quadrant. Is found in the antero-inferior quadrant. Okay, this is antero-superior quadrant. This is antero-inferior quadrant. This is posterior superior. This is posterior inferior. These four quadrants are formed when there is when a perpendicular line is drawn to the ombu. Okay, to the ombu, and it is found in the antero-inferior quadrant. It is found in the antero-inferior quadrant. The cone of light is due to the handle of Malleus. Due to the handle of Malleus. Okay, so the cone of light is due to the malleolar fold, handle of Malleus, antero-inferior quadrant, and step it is due to the handle of Medjesty. It is due to the handle of Medjesty. Okay. in otoscopy, the most reliable sign is, we have already discussed that the most reliable sign in the otoscopy is the lateral process of Medjesty. Lateral process of Medjesty. Why? Because it is least obliterated in disease. Okay, so in advanced disease also the lateral process of Medjesty can be found. So it is an important landmark of the tympanic membrane. So it is the most reliable sign in the otoscopy. Color of the tympanic membrane is normal color. According to Dingla, the color of tympanic membrane is purely gray. Okay, but let us look at the option purely white, yellow, gray, and red. We don't have purely gray, so here we are going with purely white. Lever ratio of tympanic membrane is, I have already discussed that the handle of Medjesty is 1.3 times longer than that of the Mcqs. Okay, than that of the process of Mcqs. So it offers an lever advantage of 1.3. Okay, and this will provide the help in the impedance matching. Okay, so the lever ratio of the tympanic membrane is 1.3:1. Knob supply of the tympanic membrane is by. Okay, let us look at the knob supply of the tympanic membrane. Knob supply of tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane towards the outer side, that is towards the external auditory canal, and towards the middle ear. Okay, so the outer tympanic membrane is supplied by two knobs. The anterior half is supplied by auriculotemporal knob, okay, which is a mandibular division of, which is a branch of mandibular division of trigeminal knob, whereas the posterior half is supplied by the vagus knob, auricular branch of vagus knob, which is also known as Arnold's knob. Okay, whereas this is the outer part of the tympanic membrane. Okay, whereas the inner part of the tympanic membrane, is supplied by the tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal knob. Supplied by the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal knob. Okay, this is also known as the Jacobson's knob. Okay, the inner part of the tympanic membrane is supplied by the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal knob. Which is also known as Jacobson's knob. Okay, so let us look at the options. Knob supply of the tympanic membrane is by auriculotemporal knob. Okay, auriculotemporal knob supplies the outer anterior half of the tympanic membrane. Lesser-occipital knob, no, lesser-occipital knob does not supply the tympanic membrane. Greater-occipital knob does not supply the tympanic membrane, and parasympathetic ganglion also does not supply the tympanic membrane. So the correct answer is auriculotemporal knob. Okay, knob supply of the tympanic membrane is by, okay, it is by auriculotemporal knob. Okay, auricular branch of the vagus knob. Auriculotemporal knob supplies the anterior half. Auricular branch of the vagus knob supplies the posterior half. Occipital knob does not supply the tympanic membrane. Greater auricular knob also does not supply the tympanic membrane, but the glossopharyngeal knob also supplies the tympanic membrane. The inner part is supplied by the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal knob. This is a PGI question, so there can be multiple correct answers, and three options are correct. Auriculotemporal knob, which supplies the outer anterior half, and the auricular branch of the knob, which supplies the outer posterior half, and the glossopharyngeal knob, that is the tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal knob, or the Jacobson's knob, which supplies the inner part of the tympanic membrane. Which of the following is false about the tympanic membrane? Okay, cone of the light is present in anterior inferior quadrant. Yes, we have already discussed that cone of light is present in anterior inferior quadrant. Sharpness membrane is also known as the pars flacida. Okay, sharpness membrane is also known as pars flacida. Yield proportion has 3 layers. No, yield proportion has 2 layers. Okay, this is the false statement. Okay, we have discussed that the tympanic membrane has 3 layers. Tympanic membrane has 3 layers. The outer layer, outer epithelial layer is a continuation of the epithelium of the external auditory canal. It's a continuation of the epithelium of the external auditory canal. The middle layer is the fibrous layer. Okay. And there are 3 types of fibers which are found in the tympanic membrane. Okay. There are 3 types of fibers which are found in the tympanic membrane. Okay. Radial fibers which radiate from the ombo, circular fibers, and the parabolic fibers. Okay, 3 types of fibers are present in the tympanic membrane, and the inner layer is the mucosal layer. Okay, inner layer is the mucosal layer. And it is also a continuation of the mucosa of the middle ear cavity. So there are 3 layers. But when the tympanic membrane heals by perforation, if there is a perforation in the tympanic membrane, then the outer epithelial layer and the inner mucosal layer fuse very fast before the development of the fibrous layer. Okay, before the development of fibrous layer. So the healed perforations has only 2 layers. Okay, so this is a false statement. Healed perforation has 3 layers. Anterior manifold is longer than the posterior manifold. So all are correct except the healed perforation has 3 layers. Healed perforation has only 2 layers. Tympanic membrane. True of the tympanic membrane is attached to the oval window. No, it is not attached to the oval window. Okay, forms an angle of 55 degree with the external auditory canal. Yes, it forms an angle of 55 degree with an external auditory canal. This is a true statement. Okay. Chora tympani now passes to the past tensa. No, it does not pass to the past tensa. And cone of the light forms an not inferior quadrant, this is superior quadrant, antero-superior quadrant. Okay, cone of light forms an antero-superior quadrant.